I closed the door and I literally, my arm raised it and I felt the lump and I was like, maybe let me just mention it to him. Like, I really feel like it was a divine thing because I was going to wait and I can't just imagine if I would have waited. I sometimes think about that and I'm like, thank you, God, for whatever was like, this is what you need to be here for.
What was your mindset like?
At first, I was devastated, but I knew that this was going to be a long process, especially after I heard what I had to go through. I was like, all right, I can't spend every day of my life just down.
My guest today, she's still going through chemo, but she beat cancer. And what's amazing about her, what's amazing about you, is you see that beautiful smile? She never stopped smiling in the process. And I'm like, damn, I am so weak. Because here I go complaining about stuff. This stuff doesn't even matter because this is about you. And you are literally fighting for your life. And you're still smiling. And you're still there for your daughter. I mean, there's just so much. So everybody, this is Cynthia LaCruz, a singer, actor who was at one time signed to a label in Dominican Republic. She's toured all over New York City, doing her thing. She's phenomenal. She has a new single out right now. What's it called again, sis?
Khepra.
Khepra. See, I'm Dominican too, but my Spanish is horrible. That's why I'm trying. And she also has an album out as well. You can find it on iTunes or whatever your streaming platform is. But just wanted to get into your story, your strength, your courage, and your like unshakable optimism. Take us to the moment when you found out that you were diagnosed with cancer.
Oh my gosh. So it happened last year, 2023. And I had already started like writing music and I was like, okay, 2023 is the year that I'm going to release music, you know. I was getting ready. Like I started going to the gym. I started sharing, like doing some shows, sharing some of the stuff. And then I remember that day I was on my way. I had just worked. I work as a para, a teacher's assistant for special education. So I had just gotten out of work. And I was going to the gym and, well, I should say before that, I found a lump in my breast. And I felt it. It started getting bigger. And then I was like, it was weird because I had gone in to do my job was stressing me out so much that I knew I needed a physical. And I'm like, oh my God, I need to go. And I kept putting it off. And that's what I was doing. Like for 3 years at my job, I wasn't putting myself first. Like, and I knew this, like somewhere in the back of my mind, I'm like, man, I need to be more, you know, and I could write a book on why I think I got cancer. Because I really feel that those 3 years were really
Please share, seriously.
Like,
this is the platform.
I think it was very stress induced because there's nothing that feeling in my body. Like I remember I had a big blow up at work. Like I literally had to leave the building. And I remember telling the person I was arguing with, like, I am sick. Literally, my body is sick. But I didn't know I was sick. But I just felt something was off.
Wow.
And I kept telling my coworker, like when we would have lunch, like, man, something's off. I was telling her for months, you know, and I had that lump and I knew about it, but I didn't relate it to that, you know, because I always had like fibrous breast. They're very dense. So I'm like, it's one of those things, you know, but this one was getting like hard. Like it felt like a golf ball. And then my boyfriend was like, no, it definitely feels like it's growing. We need to check that out, you know. So I remember I went to go get a physical and then he wasn't my doctor. I was going to wait to see the gynecologist because he's the one, you know, they're the ones that check your breast. And then, you know, he did my annual physical. And then as I was leaving, I closed the door and I literally, my arm raised it and I felt the lump and I was like, maybe let me just mention it to him. Like, I really feel like it was a divine thing because I was going to wait and I can't just imagine if I would have waited. Like, yeah, I sometimes think about that and I'm like, thank you, God, for whatever was like, hey, you know, this is what you need to be here for. So I told him and then he had a female nurse come in. He did a check, and he was like, yeah, I'm going to send you for a mammogram. And then, yeah, I went in for the mammogram. And, they did they still couldn't see in my breast. Like, they definitely saw the lump. But because my breasts were so fibrous, they also did an ultrasound. And then the next week, they were like, oh, we're going to... I can't even remember. From this point on, my life is so like... I can't even remember how being in so many appointments, so many getting like punctured every week, and like you're like a guinea pig, It's just like... they did a biopsy, which is where they take a part of the tumor and put it under a microscope to see if it's cancerous, but they also see the makeup of it, of what it's composed of. I was on my way to the gym, going back to the story, and the doctor called, and I already knew that call, but I felt like I already knew it was that I had, that it was going to be malignant, So yeah, and he called me, and he's like, I remember him talking, and you don't hear anything else. He's like giving me instructions, and I'm just there. Like, I remember I was on Varick and Canal. Every time I pass that corner, I think about that day.
That trigger.
Yeah, like when he told me. And then the first person I called was my boyfriend, because he already knew what was going on. He's been going with me to the appointments from like day one. Like, so he's kind of been there from the beginning to the... Yeah, it's... I'm so blessed, and I hope he's blessed later with the way he's helped me.
Shout out to him.
Yeah, but and then I called my sister, and I did not tell my mom because I knew it would destroy her. So we actually waited to tell her.
Wow. How long did you wait before you told her?
Probably like a month. She was in DR.
Oh, okay.
And she was going through her own health issues as well. Wow. Yeah, they found some like blood clots in her lungs. That's how we started. We actually thought like, man, this is gonna be the year where we're gonna be in hospitals with my mom, and then it totally flipped.
Wow.
And yeah.
Wow. And so in this moment, when you realize what's happening, what are your thoughts? What are your feelings? Because you seem like you're very intuitive with your emotional and self. And also your feelings, and also too, you're super. I know you're someone who's optimistic, very positive and strong, always smiling. Even when I told my daughter I was like that you were coming by, she remembered you because of your smile. So was this a moment where like what were your thoughts? What was your experience? Like, were you like, okay, I'm about to kill it, no worries? Or like, was it concern? What was it? And forgive me if this question sounds silly.
No, it's okay. It's so funny. Like, I feel like I called it sometimes because I was so like in my job, I was so stressed that I was like, and this is where be careful what you put out to the universe. Like, I remember being like, God, like, please send me something that gets me out of this job, like gets me out of this rat race, like just like slow me down. I remember that was my thing, like, slow me down. Like, I just want to be slowed down. And a part of me, like when the doctor diagnosed me, till this day, I'm like, oh my God, what did I, but I was just like a relief. Like, I was like, thank God, like I get something to just let go and get out of that fucking like rat race, like that working hustle, like I know it's kind of, but like, of course I'm like, God, I mean, not like that, but
right. Wow. Well, like, what was your mindset like at the time when you find out? Was it like concern? Was it like, optimism? Like, where was your headspace or your emotional self?
At first, I was like, I was devastated, but of course, but I knew that this was going to be a long process, especially after I heard, the treatment plan, that it would be a whole year and what I had to go through. I was like, all right, I can't spend every day of my life just down, So I remember my coworker, she gave me like a box, before I started chemo, and the card it's a little girl hugging a big giant elephant. And I think she gave it to me for me like friendship, but I saw it like me hugging this lump, like, hey, what are you here to teach me? Like, what if I befriend this situation instead of like, that thing. And also, apparently I was already when I was down, I was already like, from what people tell me, like, wow, like you're already like, you taking it so positive. You're so like, like even going to and I really didn't realize it. But
So your down is like other people's high still.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I was like, wow, really? Like, and then, when people share like you share stuff and I'm like, wow, I never looked at it like that. For me, I was really just trying to make it out, like, I don't know. So it's crazy. Also, the people that surrounded me, like my boyfriend is very spiritual and uplifting, and he's kind of good at like, hey, change this wording, or I mean, it hasn't happened yet, so just don't, like
Right.
that. So together with that, I think it was, but yeah, I guess I'm going off tangent, but.
No. You answered. Tell us a little bit about what like would you say it is teaching you, or it has taught you?
Definitely to slow down. I'm like, it's okay. Like, we're not. I'm a person. I want to kind of control everything, and I think a lot of us, right? Like, we're like to that. I'm not in control. Like, that's it. Like just be in the moment. I don't know. Like, I planned so much, and then it's like I remember, like 2 weeks before I was diagnosed, I was like, I was looking through my, because when you look through your pictures on iPhone, it's like, wow, 4 months ago I was doing this. And like the week before there was a picture, and I'm like, I went to my friend's wedding. It was like the last time I got really dressed up, and I had like red lips and this gold dress, and my boobs were like, I'm sorry if this makes you
Nah, it's all good.
but it's part of breast cancer, whatever. And I'm like, wow, like, and then like literally 4 months after, I have this picture where I lost, like, I went down to like 111 pounds from 126. My breasts are gone. I was like bald, and I look so sick. And I'm like, wow, see, that's why you can't say, oh, I'm going to save this dress for this occasion. Wow. And they say like,
I do that. Obviously not a dress, but like, yeah.
Me too.
But like an outfit or a shirt or something.
Yeah, I literally have a shirt right now sitting in my closet that I always pictured it for this single that I have coming out. I'm like, when I shoot the video for that, and I've literally had it for like 4 years, I'm like, I need it to be for that video. And now the shirt doesn't even fit me because my breasts are smaller. Wow. Yeah. Because of cancer. So it's like, I think me trying to control, thinking that I'm playing at God and like having that.
That's so profound. I think it's so powerful. And man, like, you don't even know, like, behind the scenes, you inspire me so much, because to see your new single was just dropped. What was the name of the new single?
Khepra.
And it's, check it out on YouTube and everything. Before we wrap it up, let people know how to find it. As a matter of fact, let them know right now, what can they listen to and find Khepra?
It's on all streaming platforms. It's on YouTube. There's a lyric video, and there's also a video, which I shot right after I finished chemo, because that mentality, I was like, I'm not going to wait till I have my hair back and all this stuff, or I'm done with treatment, because what if that never comes, So I'm like, I recorded the video like probably 2 weeks right after my last chemo.
Wow.
And I remember like being tired and weak, and I had like a whole bruising here and yeah, it was just that. I was like, I'm going to get it done, because I said I'm not going to let anything else get in the way of, if I'm able and living and here and I can do it, I'm going to do it.
And the reason why it was so inspiring me, besides the fact you're creating, and our salute and respect to all creators, you did it, bald. I don't know if that's proper to say. Bald without hair?
I think so.
Okay. You did it bald because of chemo. And, like, so many people would have been like, oh, I'm going to wait till I get my weight back, my hair, like everything you just said. I was like, wow, for me to think about all the things that I allow to stop me, or all the self-doubt that I experience, to see you, and especially like you're a woman, and like hair and, breast and all of that is so tied, so to speak, to
especially for Dominicans, like
right.
to
I mean,
say
you could say more
Latin
than me.
women.
You're a woman,
Yeah,
so
Latin women too. Is
right, all of that, and to see you still out here living, looking amazing, and still not afraid to come out as a woman as you are right now. I think that alone is an inspiration, like on a whole nother level. You know what I mean? Like, you're not stopping, you're not hiding, like you're still doing your thing. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's so inspiring. And to me, and I'm a man, which I cannot relate to any of that. Well, in a way, as far as the self-doubt and everything. But I can't even imagine like the women who may have had like hair issues for whatever reason, or maybe like their breasts are small. Like, I have daughters, and I remember like having conversations with one of my daughters who was trying to gain weight, get thick. You know what I mean? I'm like, wow, you're beautiful as you are. Right. But I get it, because mainstream, especially in our community, like has this ideal version of what beauty is and whatnot. And you're defying all of that. Like, that's just so amazing. Like, how are you doing that?
Well, first of all, like, I was very inspired. Like, I kept it under quiet. Like, I was like, am I going to share it? Part of me wanted to process it. Like, when I was going through chemo, I didn't post, I didn't tell anybody, only my family knew, close. And then as I progressed in my journey and my body started changing, I was like, man, how does that look like for a singer? What is my life going to be like as a singer with cancer or post-cancer,
Yeah.
So I was looking for a long time. And anyway, shout out to this singer. Her name is Bianca Munoz. Mm. And she is a 3-time cancer survivor. And she put out a video. All that to say that then I found this community of cancer survivors, even close to me, that showed me and encouraged me, that I saw that there could be still a life after cancer, and during cancer and during treatment. You could still keep going, So that really inspired me to put out music and still do it.
Wow. And how are you living life as a cancer survivor? And you beat it up. You didn't just survive. You beat cancer up. That's what we're affirming. How is your perspective about life different now?
Oh my gosh, it's definitely slower. Although I still, right now I'm going through like a depatternization. I don't know if that makes sense. And deconditioning my mind for because I know my way of life probably wasn't the healthiest. And when I say that, I don't only mean like food and physical, but my sympathetic system. Like, I always kept it in fight or flight, starting with my job. My job is a very big fight or flight. Like, I was always in fight or flight. And then I felt like that started leaking into even running for the bus and the train. Like, I would tell myself like, oh my God, I'm going to be late. And my mind was always at work and not walking down the street, enjoying the train passing by. Instead, I'm like, I'm going to try to outrun that train because I need to get on that train because I need to be on time. So giving myself time, to savor the little moments, and actually enjoy that breakfast, not like golf it down while I'm like running to the train. I mean, it's still there. Like, I catch myself and I'm like, all right, I need to undo that pattern.
Wow.
And the people around me are also noticing, and they're starting to like, hey, you said you would change this. You're going to, But it's been hard to break those patterns.
Wow. And does life look differently? Not just the experience, but do you find like a new appreciation for things?
I do.
Yeah, like what? And tell us about that.
Wow, like the mundane.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, like just really, I realized I was never there in the mundane moments, like just brushing your teeth in the morning, like really trying to. And it's funny because teaching yoga, that's like one of the principles of it, being in the moment, enjoying that. And it's something I would say, but I forgot it so quickly. Like,
yeah, we all do. We get caught up in, it's like tools, but you got to use them. Yeah, I find that even, and this is no comparison to you, but I find like when I have an injury from like, let's say exercising, that number one, I notice when I have an injury of how much I use like something. Like, for example, I Muay Thai is like my main system. And when I don't know if I fractured a rib or bruised it because I never went to the hospital, but I definitely did something. I realized like all of a sudden you become present of how much you use your ribs. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh snap. Like, anyway, I won't get into that. And then when I heal, it's like, oh man, I can laugh. Because like when you hurt your ribs, laughing hurts.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Like when I had my mastectomy, like laughing, coughing, I was like, oh my God.
Right. Yeah. So then when you can do it, you're like, oh man, like
Yeah.
simple, just laughing.
Appreciate it more.
Yes.
Without pain.
Yes. What message do you have for two populations, for lack of a better word, other cancer survivors? Let's start with them. What message, I want you to look at your camera, and what message do you have for them?
For other cancer survivors.
Yes. So all cancer survivors and people with cancer who are in the trenches, because you beat it, but people in the trenches now, what message do you have for them?
Wow.
Those who are in the trenches and those that survive.
It's so funny because I still feel very much in the trenches. Mm-hmm. I know we're affirming. Oh my gosh, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Take your time, please. Seriously, take your time, huh? No rush.
And it could be something that you need to hear yourself, speaking to yourself, but speaking aloud. Because sometimes we speak to others, but at the same time, we're speaking to ourselves and reminding ourselves. So if that's what your heart tells you to do, please.
I would say whatever it is you want to do, even after you have been diagnosed with cancer, even if you're in treatment, whatever it is that deep in your heart you've always wanted to do and for some reason cancer stopped it, find a way to just do it. Just, get creative. And maybe that way of, let's say if you're bedridden and you're like, man, I never got to perform with a symphony, or find creative ways to do it. And I feel in my heart to say this, I don't know, that it'll be therapy, that it will probably be the best medicine that you would need for that time. And I think it will take away from focusing so much on sitting at home or with cancer, just whatever that may be. I'm just talking about music because that's what resonates with me, but just do it anyway. It goes back to that, like being okay with not being in control. Like, this is what I got. Maybe that's the challenge in your life, to just be accepting and making it work. How can I make like some people are like, oh my God, when I had curly hair, I wish I had curly hair, but you have straight hair. And well, maybe there's a way you can get it curly, but just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I hope that's like.
I still have a few more questions, and then we'll wrap it up. You literally faced death, like literally faced death, and you won, right? So for people who are depressed for whatever reason, and I have my gripe because I just feel like a lot of people, they say they're depressed and they're like not really depressed. They just need to like go do something. However, I know that there's clinically depressed people because of not genetic. I was about to say hormonal, chemical. Yeah. Thank you, chemical issues. Not them, obviously. But as someone who faced death, what's your message to all of us?
Oh my God, this is so much pressure. Jesus Christ. It's so funny because I was telling you, I still feel like I still feel a little uncomfortable, like saying, I beat it, I defeated, but I also want to be conscious of my wording and affirm that.
Ashe.
But as someone who is kind of still in treatment and going through it, I don't think I have an answer right now.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you for your, for being authentic and honest and not just saying some BS just to answer the question.
Yeah.
Thank you. So as we land the plane, do you have a favorite book? And if so, what book is that?
A favorite book? I love The Way of the Peaceful Warrior. I know it was like a movie too, but the movie definitely didn't do it justice. Mm-hmm. But I love that book. I love Siddhartha. which is like the story of Buddha. Yeah. What other book? I love The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. Yeah. I have so many.
Yeah. But tell us, since you mentioned The Peaceful Warrior, what is it about that book that stands out for you? Like, what did it do for you?
It's that lesson that I'm telling you about the mundane, like appreciating, like, what if this is it for you? Like, and being content with your present moment. Like, what if, and I say in my case, what if I'm aspiring to be like this, like, pop diva or something, and this is it for me? Like, how would you feel about that? Like, and it's finding the joy and contentment in that. Like, I like that he worked in a gas station, and the other guy, you know, the gymnast was like, why am I taking advice from you? You're working at a gas station. But he was like, no, but this is what I love. Like, I want to work at a gas station. Like, he loved serving people, serving the gas, you know, like.
Indeed.
So that, yeah.
So now this question may seem a little grim. So, but it's not. It's not. But it may seem like it.
You thought I was gonna ask a tough question.
Can I just tell him with that? Can I just stay with that?
Absolutely not. So, 200 years from now, someone is speaking at your eulogy. What would you want them, if you can say in a sentence or two, what would you like to be said at your eulogy?
Gosh. That I was able to, and you know, I kind of get this now, but I also try to not identify with it, like get cemented, you know, because it could create like but that I had the capacity to be kind of like an alchemist and transform, like if somebody was having a bad day, from just being there and talking or smiling, like I was able to raise their frequency or transform the
mood, the energy.
Yeah. And I see that happen even now, you know, with like, sometimes I don't know why, but that's a God-given gift, I guess. Like the grumpiest person, like I'm able to break them, and like I don't know. It's just like, for me, it's like that I want to say, like, I'm very understanding with, I mean, don't get me wrong, some people try me, and then I'm like, they see another side.
Let's get it.
Yeah.
Washington Heights comes out.
Yeah. But for the most part, like, I can get to that humanly part of someone, even if they're like super grumpy, super materialistic, or like, I don't know, I can just relate to them, and I feel like I see them break, or I see them let their guard down with me, you know, like that. And that's what I would like to.
I think for lack of a better word, your optimism is your superpower. How do you keep it so high? How do you keep it?
I don't know. You know, that's something, because people actually ask me, like, why is it? And I don't know, but it's just something from people that I get from them. Like, and one time, this girl, I saw her and I was like, oh my God, you're like my favorite person. She's like, I feel like you tell everybody that. Like, and I'm like, but I don't. But it's just like, people make me happy. Like, I don't know. It's just something like and it's not that I consciously do it, but I like really get invested. Like, wow. But also there's times that I am like disattached from the person, but I still give them a chance. You know, I don't know. But there's something about people that is like, I don't know why, like the struggler in me, I guess, sees the struggle in that person, and that's where I meet them. That's where I go, you know. When we talk, no matter how much of a bitch they are or how, you know, I don't know.
Well, I say, you know, from my mind and heart, you are one of the strongest persons I've ever encountered. For you to go through what you went through, to not only beat it, to grow through it, and still have the energy to share wisdom with us, with the world, and still smile. I mean, I really feel like at this point, like, what am I complaining about? So just thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing all your story and your gems. And please come back and keep us posted. And you know, if you don't have anything else, let everybody know where they can find you and how they can find you.
Yeah, no, just want to say the same thing. Thank you. As you just shared so openly, it was a lot of reflective things for me as well, and a lot of things that I just picked up on, being more mindful about the words that I put out there, making sure I surround myself with people that have those positive words, like you mentioned with, your child's father, how he speaks still positive things and makes sure of that. It was just throughout the entire conversation, you shared many, many gems, and I just have to just show my gratitude for that.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me and listening, and
Yes,
being invested in hearing my story,
this is called raw success, and there's no bigger success than defeating death, and smiling at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, wow. But yeah, let people know how to find your music, the new single, everything.
So definitely, please connect with me. I would love to connect. I'm at Cynthia LaCruz, CYNTHIA, LaCruz, LACRUZ. That's on all social medias. That's how I can be found.
There we go. Raw success. Thank you. We appreciate you. The hour. Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Peace.